Buenos dias. Feliz Dia de los Muertos. I'm PushingUpRoses, and welcome to a new series I'd like to call Debugged, Halloween Edition. Technology is great. Things like computers, hackers, and viruses have been the plot to many movies and TV shows in the past 20 years. Though, as you may know, some of these movies and shows are not very realistic. In this series, we'll be looking at some of the more impossible scenarios regarding computers, hackers, bugs, worms, and everything related. Since it's that spooky time of the year, I decided to review something I found eerie from my childhood. It aired on Nickelodeon back in the early 1990s and centered around a group of kids telling horror stories late at night. So, are you afraid of the dark? Are You Afraid of the Dark was a TV show on Nickelodeon back in the early 90s. It centered around a group of friends called the Midnight Society who got together at midnight to tell each other subpar horror stories. This episode so happens to be about computer viruses.
His computer has a virus. Every time he tries to print something, it gets erased.
Ooh, scary.
Computer viruses are malicious code written by mad computer scientists intended to infiltrate and infect your computer until the monitor weakly bleaks its last breath, never to turn on ever again. Actually, it's probably fine. You could probably just turn it on the next day, run McAfee or something. The episode starts out with the Midnight Society all gathered around waiting for Gary, one of the storytellers, to arrive.
Sorry I'm late. A computer virus ate up my book report twice.
He gets there rather late and explains his tardiness was due to a computer virus eating his homework. Twice. At least it's better than that old dog excuse. He gives a brief description of the story, then throws a bunch of sand in the fire, saying the phrase that became synonymous with Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society. I call this story The Tale of the Renegade Virus.
The story begins with a young boy named Simon waking up for school. The story follows his normal routine, turning off his alarm clock, which looks like it was designed by Fisher-Price, throwing a Nerf ball into a plastic basketball hoop, and getting ready for school.
Suzanne, you've been in there for 20 minutes.
Come on, honey, it's getting late.
Coffee, 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 coffee.
What's wrong with the bus? Hey!
After breakfast, he meets up with his friend, Evan, who is waiting for him outside. He tricks him by throwing a football, then heists the bike and takes off.
Touchdown!
Nice catch!
Hey!
To drive the knife in even further, Jerky McJerkwad also changes the lock on his locker and steals the cute little red-headed girl from him for a date.
Cute. Real cute. Oh, hi, Sonia. You going to the game on Saturday?
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah. I thought maybe we could...
I'm going with Simon.
He ends up being late for class, gets in trouble with the teacher, who I seriously thought was being played by Stephen King for a split second.
Mr. Lewis.
Have you read my new book?
Mind giving more effort into being here on time?
Yes, Mr. Smith.
Yes, you would mind giving more effort?
I mean, no, Mr. Smith.
Evan runs back into Simon after school gets out and suddenly seems to have forgotten all the douchey things he did to him previously, as now he's freaking out about something one of the teachers accomplished.
Simon! 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 Come on, he's finished!
Apparently, he's been working on a video game for some time and it's just now ready to be played.
Poe's ready. Who? Mr. Poe, the science teacher. He's been working on a computer game for months.
We've been bugging him to get the first crack at it.
Let's go!
Mr. Poe?
They get into Mr. Poe's, office? Seriously, what school would allow this nutbar to work for them? He has a crash test dummy swimming simulator. And I'm pretty sure those square gears aren't connected to anything, and are made of foam.
How do I play?
Are you familiar with virtual reality?
Sort of.
It's a computer simulation of reality. It makes you feel
Poe
like
explains that he has completed what seems to be a virtual reality game. Poe explains that in order to play the game, Simon must use his mind.
Mr. Poe, where are the controls?
Right there. In your mind.
Simon takes a seat, and Poe slides down what looks to be an electric chair headpiece onto his head, which has magnifiers and blinders attached to it. Because science. Before Poe boots up the game, he is suddenly startled by a skull and crossbones on his monitor. Yarg, matey, this virus be written by pirates! But it's okay, Poe does a few quick keystrokes and turns the skull into a happy smiley face. How cute. And then the virus is gone. Because science.
I mean, that's completely how computer viruses work, right? It's happened to me a few times. Ah! Oh shit! Fatty Bear virus! Quick! Button mash! Button mash! Button mash! Phew!
So now that the virus is fixed with magic, Simon is all ready to jump into virtual reality. When the game starts, he quickly notices something strange. Mainly that he isn't in the game.
It was all a dream.
He wakes up thinking he was just dreaming, except that his alarm clock is all borked, and when he throws the Nerf ball, it crashes through a window.
How'd that happen?
He goes into the hallway only to notice no chaos.
Hey, anybody up?
He goes downstairs to try to find his family, only to find their holograms. He starts hearing voices, and at this point I'm starting to wonder if this kid is stuck in virtual reality or if he's just delusional.
I'm up here, Simon.
Mom? Mom?
He follows the voice into his parents' office where he sees a computer and what looks to be the most terrifying virus in personified form ever represented in the media.
I'm dreaming of something real strange is going on.
Well, son, you're not dreaming.
So, I guess that leaves us with something strange.
What are you doing?
Wow, Gary Coleman sure did let himself go for this role. Apparently, the game Simon is playing has been infected with a very irritating and insanely fugly living virus.
You're still in the game, Einstein.
Computer virus. How'd you get in here?
Rootkit.
Once my program runs, I'll be able to output myself from this stupid game. Right into your brain.
The virus clearly states his intentions.
What?
He's tired of living his life infecting computers, and he wants to get inside Simon's brain. Because... And then Simon notices a DA-15 port embedded into his hand, which is actually a port commonly used for gaming, so it kind of makes some sense.
Damn it.
Whew, if that's infected. Don't pick at it, or it'll never heal.
Sure. Rule number 1. I win.
For some reason I can't figure out, the virus decides to give Simon 10 minutes to escape from the game. Why he didn't just infect him right there, I'll never know. Viruses are usually not this forgiving in real life. In reality, you'd be scan-disking for your life.
Program will run in 10 minutes and 35 seconds.
You heard it, Einstein. Good luck.
The virus spits him back into another virtual reality world, back into the school, where everything is herpaderped. You can tell it is, because Evan managed to get himself a date.
Let's go, Evan. Sorry, going to the game with my girl.
But, Evan!
Simon wanders around the alternate reality world back in school trying to find a means of escape. Though his aimless wandering doesn't do him much good, and he ends up running back into the virus who just heckles him.
Enjoying the game, Einstein? The speed of light divided by the speed of sound equals 5.
Actually, the speed of light divided by the speed of sound equals 880,991. Just a couple numbers off there.
Relax. Gotta think. Don't panic.
Warning. This is a warning. Incorrect input may cause extreme
Simon runs back home, ending up back in the office with the computer, only to see but who else? His quote-unquote best friend. Seems this is all a clever scheme to get back at Simon for being the douchiest friend ever.
Evan, get me out of here. The thing's gone berserk.
I know. Somebody planted a virus.
Somehow, Evan wrote his own virus into the video game
Still on the phone.
that, well, it's not a worm because it's not replicating, and I don't think it's a Trojan, so... never mind. The point is, the virus jumps into the game, into your brain, via gaming port.
See what?
Unfortunately, Evan's virus backfires on him. What he thought was a harmless virus that perhaps at most becomes irritating turns itself into a menacing piece of malware. Normally, this wouldn't happen, as a virus only does what you tell it to do. But this is a living virus with a giant pulsating brain. And because science? Oh, and then this happens.
Going up.
Yeah.
He's running his own program. You gotta stop it.
Evan tells Simon there's a way to rid himself of the virus, to abort from the inside. I don't actually know what this means, because you would never just abort to clean your computer of a virus. And the whole aborting from the inside of the game and putting in the code, yeah, it makes no sense. But this is television, so it works.
Evan!
Okay, you can abort from in there, but you need the code.
Well, give it to me.
I bet you can figure out what it is.
Just give it to me.
Okay, the code is my code.
The connection between Evan and Simon is lost, leaving Simon to guess at the passcode to abort from the inside or something.
You can't lock me out, Einstein.
Evan's locker combo.
Miss me?
As soon as he types it in, all is left to do is press enter, and apparently that will fix the infected game. But the virus finds him and binds him to a chair, not allowing him to reach the keyboard.
I told you. Rule number 1. I win. You lose. Now, I'll need your hand.
The virus takes off his glove and reveals his secret weapon of destruction. A parallel port cable! And, wait a minute. Hold the phone. He's trying to jam a parallel plug into a DA-15 port? Oh, come on. I know this episode is hokey, but they could have at least matched the port to the plug.
Well, it seems to be curtains for what could have been our future juvenile delinquent. Oh, wait. What's this?
Oh, so all he had to do was stretch out his hand a little bit to reach enter, proving that when you try, you can accomplish things.
Simon, are you all right?
Yeah. I'm okay.
So Simon manages to escape virtual reality. Mr. Poe is befuddled, not knowing why there was a virus in his game, but we all know what really happened.
Probably just an accident.
Despite almost infecting his friend with a potentially life-threatening infection, Simon forgives Evan because I guess that's what friends do. One guy takes the other guy's girl, guy seeks revenge through means of brain infection. Makes sense to me.
But I can ride your bike home.
Forget it! But is the virus really gone?
Gary wraps up the story by scaring the bejesus out of one of the younger members, and the fire is extinguished, and they all go home.
You know what I liked about the story?
What?
That the virus is still alive. And if you're not careful, it'll jump into your computer.
I gotta go. Later.
Gotta make it gay.
Well, that about wraps it up for the first episode of Debugged, Day of the Dead edition. I hope you guys are having a great and spooky Halloween. I'll catch you guys in the next episode where we tackle more movies and television shows about impossible computer, hacker, and virus situations. For now, Always remember to use protection.